Coming up, students are told to leave campus for the rest of the school year, but will they get their money back for room and board?
UNC healthcare workers desperate for protective masks are getting a helping hand from the country where the coronavirus outbreak began.
And coping with quarantine, how students are turning to social media apps to lighten the mood.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of Carolina Week. I'm Elizabeth Holmes in Wake Forest, North Carolina.
And I'm Adam Jordan in Raleigh. This is the first time in Carolina Week's nearly 20-year history that the show has been done remotely. Like most universities, UNC's campus is closed because of the coronavirus outbreak, so we've been working from our respective homes. Elizabeth, how are you holding up? It's been a while since we've seen each other and really seen any of our friends.
Adam, it's incredibly weird to be doing everything online and to not be able to return to campus, especially senior year. As you know, the university ordered all students off campus on March 17th.
And one of the biggest questions on students' minds since then is, am I going to get my money back? Reporter Jackson Lanier looked into the issue.
The Board of Governors passed their emergency budget request on April 8th. In the budget, it orders all UNC system schools to refund students on-campus housing and dining expenses.
And that is essentially, via the president's directive, a full refund of the outstanding prorated amount that was remaining for both housing and dining. And it will be issued back in the form of a cash a check, a cash refund, not a credit.
The refund amount students will receive will vary student to student. Here is how much a student can estimate the refund to be. For housing, take your semesterly rate for your housing and divide that number by 15. Then multiply it by 7. A student living in a double occupancy dorm are expected to receive a little less than $1,600. For dining, students will receive the remaining value of their swipes. For the block plans, divide the cost of your plan by the number of swipes in the plan, and then multiply that number by your remaining swipes. For the unlimited plan, divide the plan's cost by 15, and then multiply that number by 7. A student with the unlimited plan is estimated to receive around $1,100. The Board of Governors has said that universities will only be issuing refunds for housing and dining.
At this point, we're not contemplating student tuition or fee refunds.
In order to receive a refund, students must have direct deposit set up in Connect Carolina. To do that, log into Connect Carolina, go to Student Center, click the Manage Student Finances button. After completing two-step verification, you should be prompted to set up your direct deposit. Follow the steps, and you will be set up to receive your refund. The university has said that students can expect to receive their refund by the end of April. In Randleman, I'm Jackson Lanier, Carolina Week.
UNC's nearly 30,000 students are having to finish up this semester online, and many professors are using a video conferencing app to do just that, called Zoom. Zoom's founder, Eric Yuan, recently spoke to UNC advertising professor Gary Kay's class online. Yuan says Zoom is looking into adding new features to make the app more exciting.
And one feature we are working on, just based on the feedback we received over the past 2 weeks, we are going to add some the video filters.
Enhanced security is another feature Yuan says he has been working on after some users reported their conferences actually being interrupted by hackers.
Video conferencing technology is not only being used for classes, but also important campus services. As reporter Amy Cockram shows us, UNC's counseling and psychological services staff is still ready to help.
During the pandemic, students are finding different ways to cope, like going outdoors, reading a book, or even journaling. UNC's counseling and psychological service staff want you to know that they are here to help. CAPS is increasing teletherapy and expanding social media outreach to educate students on how to stay healthy during these times. Director Alan O'Barr suggests students find activities to do daily.
I think really sort of finding a practice that you can do to establish some form of routine. I think the absence of a regular routine is the thing that's most difficult for a lot of people.
Counseling staff are still available in person if you need their services, but they do ask that you pick up the phone and give them a call if possible. Reporting from my home in Mount Airy, I'm Amy Cockrum, Carolina Week.
Being stuck at home has been a challenge for a lot of people.
That's right. And imagine if someone in your own home tested positive for COVID-19. That's what's happening to a UNC junior. Reporter Maureen Aaliyah has her story.
In Brewster, New York, junior Amelia Cuomo shares her experience living with 2 COVID-positive siblings in a family of 6. Her brother Grant, a sophomore at Princeton, was the first to test positive.
So when my brother first came home, the first night that we noticed anything, he just kind of had a typical fever, and that came with like your chills and sweats, you know. And then after like 2 or 3 days, he started telling us that he couldn't smell anything and he couldn't taste anything. Yeah. And like that was the day that he started feeling that was about the same day that the CDC put out the information that that was one of the symptoms of the virus. And so we were like, oh my gosh, really? And then he started to develop more congestion and like mild cough.
After waiting 1 week to get Grant's results back, the entire family got tested as they feared for Amelia's sister, Florence, who has asthma.
That time period when he got his results back coincided with when things got really bad in New York, and like the state shot up to like over 100,000 cases. And so they started to really buckle down. And so we were able to call in, and we were like, well, none of us even have symptoms yet. And they're like, okay, get tested. They didn't ask questions. They just, yeah. So we went the next day. They had this really crazy operation set up at the Danbury Hospital where they wouldn't even let you like near the hospital. They had like cleared out the parking garage, and it was like a drive-through. People were coming in, and then they were just administered it. You roll down your windows, they give you the test, and then they like have you roll up your windows and drive away. They take what is essentially like a very like thin, small pipe cleaner of sorts, and they shove it up your nose until you cough. Like it hurts. It's got to be like 6 or 7 inches of it goes in your nose. It's so painful. And so that's what they were doing. Like all these people were coming over with their PPE. They had the little like pipe cleaner, and you'd roll down the window and they'd be like, all right, tilt your head back. And you had to tilt your head back, and they'd be like, inhale, and they'd shove it up one nostril, and you just had to wait. You just had to wait until it was all the way in there, and then they'd take it out, and then they had to do the other one.
48 hours later, Florence was the only one who tested positive. She shares her experience with the virus.
But it actually didn't affect my respiratory system at all. And the symptoms that I had were not your typical symptoms either. Like I never had a fever, I never had a cough, I never had congestion. I had sensitivity to light, muscle fatigue, and like dizziness, and I was just really weak. So I wouldn't have even gotten tests. Like I wouldn't have ever thought that was the coronavirus if I hadn't tested positive. And then I self-quarantined in my basement. I just lived in the basement for like a week and just kind of hung out there alone. And then my symptoms went away and I was fine. I was super lucky, especially because of the asthma, but I ended up being completely fine.
Despite being quarantined for a week in the basement, Florence kept her sense of humor. In Raleigh, I'm Maureen Aaliyah, Carolina Week.
The vaccine to prevent coronavirus could be invented by a Tar Heel. Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett received her PhD in microbiology and immunology at UNC in 2014. She is currently the Vaccine Research Center's scientific lead of the coronavirus team. They hope to have a vaccine ready for the general public by 2021.
One of the major issues for healthcare workers during this pandemic is the lack of personal protective equipment, and the staff at UNC hospitals is no exception.
But as reporter Samantha Bia shows us, they're getting some help from people thousands of miles away.
Only 2 weeks ago, doctors and nurses at UNC hospitals were still working with zero protections, not even able to wear face masks.
In Asia, everybody wears masks, including the patient. But in clinic, we're asked not to wear anything. Why? Because we don't have enough.
While UNC Hospital Dr. Andrew Wang was reaching out for face mask resources, a group of people from the opposite side of the world started to take actions. After hearing about the mask shortage from a friend working at UNC Health, a UNC Chinese student's parent, Dong Meiqu, spread the information in Chinese parents' WeChat groups.
就是25号那天，他给我留言就说，就急缺嘛，大量的需要，然后几乎就是同一时间，那么家长群里在组织捐款。后来我就建议他们，就是我是觉得捐钱可能更容易一些，但是呢，这个他们并不是迫切的需要钱，他们可能还是需要口罩所以大家就开始商量买口罩。
Hundreds of parents from different WeChat groups started voluntarily contacting UNC Hospital, searching for qualified mask resources and collecting donations. 5 days later, about $40,000 were donated by 200 UNC Chinese parents, and the first 10 boxes of 40,000 face masks departed Hangzhou, China.
整个的过程从最初选择口罩厂家，到安排快递，到美国那边接收，几乎每一天都有各种问题，就是我们会碰到层出不穷的问题，就是只能说一关一关的过。所以这个过程还是我体会是非常的不容易。
The masks were received by several UNC Chinese students and families living in Chapel Hill, and they helped donate them on April 7th.
The donations, the big donations, really helped the entire system, and to transition from a policy that we know is going to cause trouble to a policy where everybody is now protected.
13 more boxes of masks will be delivered to UNC Hospital next week.
I'm incredibly happy, grateful for their donation. Like I said, it's a motivating factor. So when we get back to work, we're motivated to, continue to do what we do.
Reporting from Chapel Hill, I'm Samara Bie, Carolina Week.
Thanks for that report, Samara. It's so great to see people coming from all corners of the globe to help those fighting this coronavirus pandemic.
And speaking of working together, students from universities across the United States are supporting each other by creating a special online community. Reporter Melissa Rademacher has the story.
UC San Diego student Catherine Tippett is still surprised that her Facebook group, Zeta Omicron Omicron Mu, or Zoom Sorority and Fraternity, has more than 10,000 members.
So I just made that post on the meme page as a joke mostly, and then it kind of just took off immediately.
College students started sharing the idea of online Greek life, and the group grew quickly. The University of Washington was the first institution to close its campus and shift to online classes after a coronavirus outbreak in Seattle. Most universities across the country have followed suit and are now using the conference app, Zoom, to hold classes virtually. The shift to online also meant many cancellations for social and fundraising events in the Greek community. UCLA senior Justine Ramos expressed disappointment about missing her final events on campus.
We had a lot of stuff planned, especially for the seniors, and we were just really sad that we couldn't do any of that.
But the online Greek group almost immediately took on a life of its own, using spreadsheets and surveys to appoint officers and committees that help connect and engage the members. Members are supporting each other academically.
They have a mentor-mentee program going on right now where people are being matched up, and they have a LinkedIn thread.
And socially.
I just picked up 2 littles, and so right now is Clue Week.
The most important aspect to Tippett is the continued philanthropy. The online fraternity is selling branded merchandise and donating a portion of the profits to COVID-19 relief funds at the World Health Organization and other charities.
I did buy a Zoom sash, what's it called? The stole.
The short-term impact I want to have is provide that sense of community to people when they're stuck in their apartments and can't really go out and socialize face-to-face.
And the group is doing just that.
It's really nice to have that kind of humor and joy. Even though we're all kind of isolated, it makes us feel more connected.
The group is not exclusively for students in Greek life on their campuses. Anyone can request to join and participate in the online community as students support each other during this experience. In Clemmons, North Carolina, Melissa Rademacher, Carolina Week.
Many events have been postponed or canceled because of coronavirus, but for some, the show must go on.
Incredible. I love Corona weddings.
Coronavirus couldn't stop this Tar Heel couple from getting married or from having their friends and family there with them. Matt and Susan Williams, both 2019 graduates, were surprised by their friends and family cheering them on from their cars after tying the knot on Thursday. They live-streamed their private ceremony held just off of Franklin Street. The two were originally planning on getting married at the end of May. They met as students through their on-campus ministry, Reformed University Fellowship.
So with a lot of events being canceled on campus, a lot of students aren't able to see their friends or participate in extracurricular activities. So a lot of them have been turning to a social media app to keep busy and entertained. And Adam, I know you are no stranger to this social media app. It's called TikTok.
Not at all. I've had a blast with it over this quarantine. I've sent a lot back and forth to my friends. I went out recorded my own, and it's super addictive. I have fun with it.
Right. I got to speak with Adam and other UNC students who are using TikTok to cope with COVID-19.
Escaping the reality of coronavirus is a little easier when you can laugh, dance, or keep yourself busy. Young adults everywhere are doing just that by spending several hours a day on a social media app called TikTok.
You can get really trapped in there if you're not careful.
Emma Walitsky, a junior at UNC Chapel Hill and a member of an on-campus dance team, says she spends most of her time learning TikTok dances, short viral dances that users can mimic and share with their followers. What the app, with more than 800 million users, is known best for. No longer able to dance with her friends because of social distancing guidelines, she says the app motivates her to learn choreography and stay physically active.
Yeah, definitely having these dances to learn has been a fun way to still have dance in my life and doesn't take up too much time and I get to do it by myself.
Users like Leah Murphy say they've used TikTok to learn just about anything to keep themselves busy, from cooking recipes to makeup tutorials to redecorating tips.
I, learn stuff from them, surprisingly, and then I can get influenced by some girl doing something cute on her wall or something, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do that too.
And after months of swearing off downloading the app, I finally caved.
And I downloaded it. It's on my phone, and I'm about to use it for the first time ever. The first thing it's asking me is what my interests are. There's gaming, beauty and style, life hacks, and I'm interested in all of these things.
Some users like Adam Jordan say they use the app as a distraction to get their minds off of the pandemic.
I'll sit on Twitter and I'll read the news and it'll get depressing or, it'll make me anxious or something like that. And so then the next thing I do is I open up TikTok because I know I will always get a laugh out of it.
More importantly, users are still able to maintain a human connection and happiness, even if it's not in person.
A couple of my friends had the idea to make videos, individual videos of each other dancing. We'd splice them up and make a socially distant TikTok dance video.
I've actually made a couple friends out of it as well. I really enjoy watching people's babies, watching them laugh and react to stuff. It makes me happy.
Something we all need in a time of separation.
Well, there was a whole lot of fun in that story, from my beard experiment to your fantastic TikTok dance, which I will commend your skills. Looked like you had a lot of fun putting that one together.
Oh yeah, it was by far probably the most fun story that I've ever gotten to do, getting to learn dances and basically spend hours scrolling through TikTok, which is so easy to do. It was incredibly fun, and I'm so happy I got to do it. Adam, this is a very weird way to wrap up, I guess, the end of this semester. I just want to know your thoughts on, doing this for the first time.
It feels weird. I mean, if somebody had told me before the semester started that our final senior sign-off would be like this, I would have told them they were crazy. But it's been a blast doing this with you all year and getting to work with the whole Carolina Week crew this year. And Yeah, it's been a pleasure. So thanks for watching this special edition of Carolina Week.
And we wish you and your loved ones health and happiness during this really strange time. And we hope to see you again in the fall.